Okay guys, a quick video for you on Chainlink here because there's a lot going on in the market and a lot going on with Chainlink. So first of all, from this recent peak to the recent bottom, Chainlink has given up over 32%. And that's a little bit more than some of the other coins. We have Ethereum here giving up, again, going from peak to peak, over 18%. It's a lot less than Chainlink. And Bitcoin, which is historically less volatile than Chainlink, so not surprising, 18 and change. Polkadot, which in the not too distant past was more volatile and weaker than Chainlink. However, Chainlink is being a little bit more volatile right now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Polkadot, when it was more volatile, went down faster and steeper, but also rebounded higher and quicker. So it's not always a bad thing. Okay, so I recently made a video here about some turbulence ahead for Chainlink. And the turbulence arrived a little bit sooner than I expected, but I did expect some turbulence. So I'm going to get into the bigger picture on that here in a second. But let's take a look at the Link Bitcoin valuation here. So this is the weekly chart. We can see where we're at right now. It has actually dropped down to this, not exactly a perfect support level here, but a level that has hit a couple times in the past, or even more than that, really, 3 times there. So it could hold above that line and maybe continue this support. This pattern is really hard to get much out of because on the one hand we have this these lower highs, but we also have higher lows here a little bit, and that support in there. So a little bit of a mixed picture as far as the Link Bitcoin valuation. But let's now take a look at the big picture for Chainlink. So I was saying that I believed this long-time historical pattern would hold, and that we would see Chainlink getting above this midpoint line. It bounced off of it previously, but getting above there and getting to the top of that channel. I expected a little turbulence right here below this midpoint line. So the turbulence arrived a little bit earlier than expected, but in case you're freaking out about that big drop that it has taken right now, let's take a look at some historical data. All right, so we're going to look at the last time where we can really see that it bounced off of this bottom of the channel and kind of came close to it, but never really touched it again. That's kind of the scenario we're looking for right now. And let's see how they compare here. All right, so I'm going to take a copy of those bars, and I'm going to move those bars over to where we're at. And there are some interesting things to look at here. So matching it from touching the bottom of the channel there, and that's it. So we're going to compare, all right? So what's interesting is that just by moving the same pattern over, we had it bounce off of that midpoint a couple of times. Well, it did the same thing already. And then this is the bouncing off that I was predicting. Now in this old pattern, it actually got there, whereas in our current pattern, it has not. But it's lining up pretty closely. I think another thing, actually probably the most interesting thing to me about this is how, if this pattern were to repeat, this is the previous high over here, right around $52, $53, something like that. We put that previous high in there, and amazingly, this bar pattern that I copied over retraces exactly to the previous high and bounces off of it and basically goes to the moon. So by comparing these patterns, it's not like saying this is going to happen. It's really just a matter of saying that it could happen. Because it has happened in the past, it's proven that this type of movement in Chainlink is possible, but certainly not guaranteed. I mean, anything can happen. It could hit the bottom of the channel again, something it has never historically done, but it could do it for the first time. Or it could have some other issues. But all we're looking at here with copying this pattern over is just seeing that something is possible. And again, the reason why I copied that pattern is because that's the one time in its history where it bounced off the bottom of the channel, came close to hitting it again, but didn't. So we're looking for that here. But I basically copied this pattern directly over with no change. Let's take a look at what happens if I do try to fit it in a little bit better, which, you know, it starts bordering on massaging the data a little bit to get what you are hoping for or want to find. But I do still think that it can be worthwhile as long as we keep that in mind. So what we find here when we adjust the fitting a little bit better is that it actually does touch the bottom of that trend channel, which is something it hasn't done before. But if we're going to use this pattern to look at what's possible, we kind of have to look at it in more than just the way we want it to play out. We have to look at, you know, several or you know, a variety of different scenarios. So in that scenario, it's not retracing perfectly. But anyway, I did think that it was pretty interesting how if we fit it in better to here, then it ends up hitting here. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because the price is going to be much higher here. Down here, the price was 13 and change, but if it touches the bottom of the channel here, it is 25 and change. So even though it's touching the bottom of the channel, because it's an ascending channel, it's actually really not too bad. As long as it doesn't go through the channel, that is what we are really watching out for. Because if it breaks through the bottom of the channel, it will have done something it has never done before. So all the rules are out the window. The repeating patterns that we base everything on, the trends, all of that, it will all be broken, and everything would change. So that's really the thing to watch out for. And if there's anything concerning in what it's doing right now, that's the concern. I'm not super concerned about it, but we just have to understand that it is an absolute possibility. Nothing is predetermined. All right, on the other hand, to finish with the good news in doing this, which is, in any case, if this is what plays out and the bottom of the channel does hold and it touches it, is at a higher price here, but also I would be perfectly happy if this pattern were to, in fact, play out again, because in the end, it has a really, really nice price, either getting to the top of the channel, which I keep predicting it hitting the top of the channel at around 140 if the historical patterns continue. But also in this bull market, maybe it's possible that it breaks to the upside of this long-term channel. And as opposed to breaking to the downside, breaking to the upside would be just fine with me. I'd love to see it. Okay, well, that is the data that I have for you today. I hope it gives you a little clearer picture on what's going on in Chainlink and some possibilities of what might happen in the future. So if you found this information useful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. And if you want to get more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.